So, I am Samuel Parandroid. I'm a music producer and artist from Germany, and currently in LA, or better to say near LA. I played in LA a couple of days ago, and currently am on tour through America. Next up is Mexico. A couple of things happening in the background, and yeah, now I'm just chilling for a couple of days until I fly to Mexico. It was amazing. It was really a dream come true, to be honest, to return here and to reconnect with the American psychedelic family, because 10 years ago when I came here, I was like welcomed with open arms. Back then through Ignogra from Akashic Records, a label that was based in San Francisco, and I had the time of my life. Some of the best experiences in my life, or memories in my life, happened in California in those 2-3 months where I stayed here, and also played back then on a very, very small party together with Mubali. And to return here, to get invited here by Nate and his crew, to present such a long set and everything, was truly an honor, really an honor, and a great, kind of like full circle. I'm returning, and it feels great. It feels like returning home in a way. Yeah, so that's an interesting question. Of course, Evernoise is the name of the new project, and Rebirth is the name of the album. And for me, that was a process of clarifying the artistic direction of the project Parandroid, actually. Like a lot of ideas that came up over the years that found its way into the project Parandroid are not really completely conducive with the vision of Parandroid and with the original artistic direction and intent. So what I did with Evernoise is to basically put those good things, good ideas that are not really fitting well with Parandroid, but are still great ideas and part of my inner self and what I want to express, put it into a new project and, package it up new. And it worked really well. I performed that just recently in Asia, in the Himalayas for the first time, and it was a stunning first presentation of, I think, any project. And yeah, so yes, I produced this album parallel to the latest Parandroid album, and a lot of childhood influences and a lot of overcoming the process of the last years, which hasn't only been easy for me. It was a tough period also all the time during Corona, and even before that, for personal reasons as well as professional reasons. I had a tough time and had to work myself through some stuff, and Evernoise was the vehicle, or that album was the vehicle. It is pretty much still in the same genre as Parandroid, but it's something completely different, and if you listen to it then you understand how different it is. Like, so it's way more musical than Parandroid, and I can really lean into those skills that I acquired now over the past decade, or more than past decade. Those skills shouldn't go to waste. My musical side shouldn't go to waste. 2023 was a year of finding back to myself out of pretty much a bit of a black hole, like a lower point in my life. Working myself up out of those darker places, and overcoming and growing. Also, basically becoming fully adult in a way. I know, like I'm like way over 30 now, but yeah, I learned a lot through those tough times, and it's great if you come out of a phase, out of hardship, out of adversity, and you have proven to yourself once again that you can withstand the challenges of life. For sure will come at one point or the other. Nobody has it easy. So yeah, 2023 has been this. A lot of work in the studio, first of all. Those albums, they didn't write themselves themselves. I wrote them. And that was hardcore work, of course. The production was hardcore, and also the selection and reduction process was hardcore. The crafting phase was hardcore. I learned a lot by reading the book The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, one of the greatest music producers. I implemented a lot of those things that he's talking about into my own process. So apart from, my personal suffering and so forth, it was a dedicated year in the studio, and then 2 really intense tours, one in Asia, in India, and now the second one in the United States, in Mexico, and then as a final cherry on top, New Year's Eve in London.
Now, this may only be known by some of the more hardcore fans that you have, but what is Audio Nerds?
Well, Audio Nerds is basically the son or the daughter of my project Instinct Learning, which probably more people are familiar with. Instinct Learning was an education platform, basically quite niche for the trance culture, where we offered workshops, consultation services, also mastering and learning products, courses, presets, samples, everything that music producers need, and also a tremendous amount of free content, free of charge for consumption, just like to make the creative process behind making music more accessible. Unfortunately, during the Corona time, as many, bookings have stopped entirely, and my whole financial plan was breaking apart, and that was one of the casualties. That was my project Instinct Learning. I took that as a chance. It was kind of tough because we worked hard on that project. We had 400 customers worldwide. We had 2 successful workshops, international workshops under our belt. Lots of work has gone into this, of course, but I took it as a chance to make something even greater and offer something that is viable for more people. So even further democratize the creation process behind music and offer great technological products that enable people to, live their creative dreams, basically, and understand that it's possible that they can do whatever they want if they put their mind to it. So Audio Nerds is a project that will go into app development. Right now we have a website. We're setting up the first online courses that are set up with a learning management system. That means that you have a full curriculum with all the learning content that is theoretical content and tons and tons and tons of live video lessons, basically, and then also a way to verify if you really learned the stuff in the courses by quizzes and by tests, basically. If you do a course on our academy, then you will get a certificate depending on the course. There are weekend courses, there are 4-week courses, there are 3-month courses, and there are long-term courses, so it depends on that. But it's basically an online music school of the future, to make it really short. My dream is to go into app development and create the best learning app for electronic music production, specifically in the world. The psychedelic experience influences my work greatly, to an enormous extent, and really the core of my motivation and my musical journey is connected to that, because I had somewhat, moved childhood, like growing up in multiple continents and with very little stability, and with also, unfortunately, some traumatic experiences. And psychedelics, especially early in my life, helped me to overcome those and to realize my potential and fully, delve into that, fully go into it, fully believe in what I'm doing, and also really quickly experiencing success in the things that I wanted to do, because I had that incredible mindset, and that was often, it was influenced through great psychedelic experiences that I had maybe around 20 years old, so very, very early on. But they changed my life, and they are at the core of the inspiration for the music. That's that much I can say. Nowadays I'm taking less plant medicine or psychedelics, or however you want to call it, than I maybe did when I was younger. But it's always alive in me, basically. So, it's a big part of that, and I'm thinking about it a lot, and how to enhance the experience for people that are potentially under the influences of plant medicine while listening to my music, and how that all influences what they experience. So when I'm writing music, I keep that in mind. I keep in mind that we're here for a ritual, a neo-shamanistic ritual in the end, if it's possible. It's like obviously many things come into play, of course, like the location and many other things, but it's a trance dance ritual, and the psychedelic experience plays a big role for me, at least when it comes to that.
Now, we're doing this interview off the back of your latest performance, Sacred Portal. How was that? You played a massive 6-hour ritual of a set.
Yes.
Let's hear about it.
So, first of all, I'm so very thankful for this invitation and this long-form invitation, because it made me go through all my catalog. I'm doing this since such a long time, and I realized how much great work I did over the years that almost I've forgotten about. So it was, in the preparation phase, I was, maybe a week or so just going through all my work, because it's always, I am having so much output, then in many cases I forget about great work and it's just like souring in some archive or something like that. So for me it was a great artistically explorative process to prepare for the set. Playing a 6-hour set is no joke, and especially, that was incorporating all my 3 projects. It was like a very amazing experience to have that all going into one performance, because I played 13 Monkeys, I played Parandroid, and I played Evernoise, but Nate and Subterranean Dwellers gave me the opportunity to present it all in one continuous ritual, basically. That was great. And then the response of the people was very, very, very positive, to say the least. So I felt very appreciated by the community, by the Californian community. It felt really nice and really, really good to perform.
That kind of segues into our next part here. How was your experience working with Subterranean Dwellers?
Yeah, so Nate was fantastic. I got in touch with him. I've heard now that he's actually was considering to get me since a while. I was basically on his short list for artists to get, and last year I had this idea of the Returnal tour. It was really just an idea, and now it's actually happening. We're sitting here and it's happening, and the idea was, okay, I want to return to as many places on this side of the planet that I have already visited. So I have sent him my new work. I've sent him the EPK, the electronic press kit of my project 13 Monkeys, where I know, the Californian family is not too familiar with the style high-tech psychedelic trance. I showed him the EPK of 13 Monkeys, which is dark psychedelic trance, a little bit slower and maybe a bit more conducive to a little bit wider spectrum of the Cali fam. And then after I have sent him and informed him about my idea of the Returnal tour and sent him the music, sent him the press kits and everything, he said thank you, and then I didn't hear from him for I think 6 months or something. And by that point I already have forgotten that I have been talking with Nate. But then came the confirmation, and he basically he packaged everything up. We already made the exchange of the formalities, so he said it's all good, we're going for it. And shortly after, everything was set and the deal was done and the flight was booked, and now I'm sitting here. And then about how my experience was really great with him. We didn't have too much time together, unfortunately, because Nate is working, of course, in another job. I think that takes a lot, and he has a family, so we couldn't spend so much time together. But professionally, I can say that he made everything really feel great for me. And then I have to add that the guy that is actually hosting me, so the guy that I'm staying here in LA with, is a long-term fan of the project and a super sweet guy. And I'm not staying at Nate's place, so I'm not staying directly with Subterranean Dwellers, actually. But yeah, overall, an absolute blissful experience to come here, and I appreciate it, and I'm grateful for that, really. I couldn't be more grateful for that, and a lot of good things already happened, coming out of my visit here in LA. So thank you, Nate, once again.
Now, you mentioned Evernoise and 13 Monkeys. Do you have anything to add to those two? Any more
Yeah.
details?
So Evernoise, I talked already about it for a fair bit, I believe. 13 Monkeys is a project that actually exists. The first sketches of 13 Monkeys have been done, I believe, in 2015. Then I wrote a fantastic track together with Orestes in Brazil after Universo Paralelo on a small island called Boipeba, after one of Brazil's biggest electronic music events, basically, where we both played, and we wrote a great track together. And then you can really say that since that point, I was continuously, investing into that vision and forming that vision. Because even as an experienced producer, I can have a new idea for a musical project and I will still need at least years to make that a reality. That was true with Evernoise. I didn't come up with Evernoise last year. Evernoise it was an iterative process until I came up with Evernoise. Evernoise before that was called Paratype, right? I binned that project basically because the vision was not fully crystallized. You have a process where you have an idea for a musical project and then you have to work it out and bring it to its actual crystalline form. And so 13 Monkeys, my Dark Side project, is something that I have invested greatly, and I'm proud to say that now I'm on a point where it absolutely is, can compete and is a great addition to almost any dance floor. And that was a long process. I want people to understand that. And the same goes for Evernoise. Evernoise was also multiple year-long process of developing that project and developing the artistic direction of that project.
Now, for those who've been following your Instagram, we've seen you post some absolutely insane stuff. What was the most American experience you've had while in LA so far?
Well, first of all, the whole trip was absolute bliss, I have to say, because my hosts have been amazing, the organizers have been amazing, the people of LA that came to the party have been amazing. Just overall, a W. But yesterday we went out for shooting with the roommates of Milan, and we went out with an insane assortment of guns and rifles. And I have shot guns for the first time in my life, and it was a fucking rad experience, to be completely honest with you. It's like shooting guns is fun, and that was a lot of fun. And we did it in the desert, in the Mojave Desert, and we had 2 handfire guns, we had a massive shotgun, we had 2 AR platforms, and what else? A 22 revolver from the 70s or something like that. Some ancient weapon. And as a first time experience, I think that was pretty much as good as it gets. It was truly an insanely fun experience. I know that weapons are, can be used for bad and can be used for good, but so you can use a butter knife for good or for bad as well. So I had a lot of fun, and I'm super glad that Ethan and Ryan trusted me with their weapons. And absolute insane fun experience, only possible, I guess, here. I don't know any other place where this is possible. And we did, of course, adhere to safety protocols. I didn't just go and grab a gun. I'm really careful with such things. I have the respect of just the necessary respect, because things can go east quite quickly, or can go bad really quickly if you're not careful or forget that you're working with lethal weapons there. But wow, I'm blown away. That's a lot of fun, and I feel right at home. I don't know, shooting is something that I feel like, I don't know, I feel talented when it comes to that. And it was cool also to see some people that really have the skill to use those weapons really effectively, although in a very limited fashion, but I saw people that could really shoot. I mean, that was cool. Up next is a fantastic little private event that we are doing here, which is cool because it's at the same time kind of my goodbye event that is hosted privately, which will be in Long Beach. Then I'm off one day later, just the next morning after I play the last time in LA. I'm off to Cancun, where I'm going to spend a couple of days, and then I will head over to my final destination on this side of the pond to San Cristobal to play a really cool party for Hunapku Records, which I'm working with since a while. Rafa is an amazing guy, and that is in collaboration with the Psytrance people, which of course most of you guys know that they are hosting one of the best parties in Mexico, basically, the New Year's Eve party, which I unfortunately will not perform. My performance in Mexico is on 27th of December, and then the final tour date of the Returnal Tour will be held in London. I'm headlining a New Year's Eve party there with some old friends actually on the lineup, which I'm also really hyped about meeting again because I didn't see them for a couple of years. Next up is Mexico after the last gig in California, and then there is London, and then I finally will head home after what I think is an amazing trip. Of course, fortunately, thank God, there is a lot of things that fans do not know about me and my personal life, and that's a good thing in my opinion. I can talk a little bit about some professional secrets. For example, many people that expect or believe that I have a classical musical education, and I do not. I actually didn't have I didn't have anything to do with the creation of music until my 20th, around 20 years old. And then I started to create music really late, and I was a fast shooter. I was just really quickly in getting to the place where I want to get, because my belief and my mindset were right on point, like to basically go anywhere. If you have the right mindset, you can go anywhere. So I had zero skill, zero knowledge when I was around 18, and I was an international recognized artist when I was 24 in the field. Yeah. That's it. I was a visual artist and a visual artist prodigy for the first 20 years of my life. Pretty spectacular if you ask me, because not even I expected to become a musician, neither any of my family or anyone, to be honest. And another thing that I can add there is that people around me, because I was artistically already active when I started to make music, literally friends around me told me to stop it and why would I waste my time when I would be so talented in another field, which is like visual art and performance art. And so basically the conclusion of this is, if you are somebody with a big dream that wants to go something or do something which seems unlikely, yeah, so fortunately this has been a grand success overall. Like, the American Psytrance family is really a family and really bonded well, but not big in its size. So doing Psytrance events successfully here isn't an easy feat. Anyway, the most important thing is that it was on a spiritual level, it was a success, because everybody's happy, the crowd is happy, me as an artist is happy, the organizer is happy. The organizer didn't lose money as well. Yeah, I will return. Probably around October, because I'm scheduled to play on a really big event in Mexico then. Probably I will collaborate with the fam over here to return, because I love this place. I really do love this place, and I don't care what anyone else would ever tell me, because I bonded with this place.